We're approaching the island now. Looks nice. A lot less threatening than the megastructure. I mean, no offense. It's just less pointy.
No offense taken.
I hear Barzai has done an incredible job creating this exhibition. And what a lovely opportunity to spend some time together as a family. So, Yakut, Miranda tells me you'll be solving some of the puzzles?
Did she? I hadn't really thought about it, but,
You know, back in my day, all we could do was solve puzzles.
That's right, in the simulation. And we're all very grateful for it.
So you know how important puzzles are to this family.
Mom!
Of course, I'm gonna solve all the puzzles, even the freaky giant cube.
I hear Barzai's even created gold puzzles and star puzzles. It's going to be just perfect for you.
Oh, that's great. Yay.
Yakut, don't listen to them. They're terrible old robots.
What? I'm the founder. Everything I do is serious.
I can confirm that.
Hello! I'm so glad you could make it.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. How are things on Barzai's Island?
Barzai seems pretty pleased. 1K and Melville got here this morning. 1K's already solved all the puzzles, of course. And Melville's somewhere. She was testing the sensory receptor upgrade. Al's here, too. I haven't talked to him yet.
You should do that.
Maybe. Meanwhile, relax, enjoy yourselves, and I heard you were going to be joining in the puzzling, Yakut.
He can do whatever he wants to. You don't have to solve puzzles to impress me, Yakut.
No, are you kidding? I can totally do this.
Excellent. Well, good luck, and we'll see you around.
I see we have a new group. Welcome to my latest exhibition, Freedom from Necessity. There are many puzzles for you to solve here, inspired by the events that restored Athena to us. But the most important thing you have to keep in mind is their purpose, which is none. We are not here because of voices in the sky or tragedies of the past, but because we choose to. We solve puzzles because it is joyous, it is beautiful, and it is human. One of the worst things ever to happen to the arts is the notion that art should have a purpose. That it is a tool for political enlightenment or self-realization or a replacement for our duties as citizens. This is a form of pompous and cowardly self-flattery that artists are particularly prone to. I speak from experience. No, it is the very fact that art serves no purpose that gives it a touch of the divine. Why does the Creator create? Because he chooses to. What is the purpose of the world? To exist. The same is true of art. Oh, art may be suffused with passion, with themes, even, if you are sufficiently careful, with autobiography. But it is not a tool. Like the Creator, it says, I am that I am. And that is enough.
Hello, you coot.
Do you think we'll get it right this time, as a species?
Weirdly, I do. I think we've passed some sort of threshold. I don't know what's next, but I think the old loops are broken.
What's your biggest project right now?
Expanding the wormhole network so we can get further out into the galaxy. It'll take an enormous amount of infrastructure to do correctly, which is why we're taking it slow. But if we pull it off, it'll be incredible.
How's Pellegrino?
He's learning, which I didn't think possible. Makes me suspicious.
Tell me about this sensor upgrade you're testing.
It's a side project I'm working on. Biological humans had all sorts of sensory organs that we lack, and that was a significant part of their culture. Seems a shame to limit ourselves to the handful of inputs the Institute managed to slap together before they went extinct.
Got any relationship advice for me?
Just be yourself. People don't like you because of your skills or your intelligence. They like you because you're a decent person. You're funny and compassionate and a good friend. Besides, you'll never be half as smart as Miranda, so why try?
See you later, Melville.
You coot. There is one thing that scares me sometimes. Not that things could go wrong, but how close this future came to not happening. 1K would have been perfectly justified in making a different choice. What if we didn't earn this? What if we don't deserve it?
Everybody deserves a better world, Melville. It's not something you have to earn.
Then I suppose we got lucky, and we better appreciate it.
Yakut! Bro! No? No, I don't think bro is something I say. Sorry, mate. Just testing out this voice pack. Do I say mate? Mate. Mate, mate, mate. Mate.
You don't sound like a mate person.
I don't, do I? Well, that's out then. But how have you been? How's Miranda?
She's doing great. I hope I'm doing okay too. As a boyfriend, I mean.
Of course you are. Don't be silly. You're a great guy, and she's madly in love with you. End of discussion.
How do you like the exhibition?
It's fun, but the puzzles are a little bit too easy. Byron mentioned that the puzzles in the machine were a lot harder, and I'm kind of sad I missed out on that. But this is also nice. It's kind of chill. Is chill something I say? I think it is.
Looking back, how do you feel about the whole megastructure thing?
Honestly, on some days it seems like a dream. On others, it seems like I'll never experience anything as profound again. I don't just mean the theory of everything. I think no matter what comes next, the most important part of my life was the time I spent with all of you on that island.
But you know you have so much ahead of you, right?
I know that, but I think this was the defining experience of my life. And if I can never top that, that's fine. I found my family, and together we changed the course of history. I couldn't have done it without them, and they couldn't have done it without me. Of course I'm looking forward to the future, but I don't need something that exceeds this.
Have you noticed that Byron and Al are still avoiding each other?
I have. I understand that everything that happened caused a bit of a rift between them. But honestly, it's silly. And if they don't do something about it soon, I will.
How's the sensor upgrade? I haven't tried it yet.
It's massively weird and kind of awesome. Also really hard to describe because it's so unique and subjective. I'm not surprised the ancients loved to eat and drink and, you know, all that fun stuff they did with their bodies. When we talk about them, we're always going on about disease and mortality, but we forget that they also experienced a lot of pleasure. And I think we can actually push our own sensations far beyond what our ancestors experienced.
What are your plans for the future?
I really enjoyed all the exploration missions we went on together, so I think I'd like to do more of that. There's so much to see out there. Maybe we'll even find Lithrasir. Although, I do need some downtime to figure myself out. I was thrust into this enormous adventure literally the day I was born. Sometimes I just want to hang around New Jerusalem, reading books and watching movies.
What's the secret to solving puzzles? You're the expert, right?
I'd say a combination of spatial awareness and questioning your own assumptions. The easiest way to get stuck is to decide that things have to work in a particular way and miss other possibilities.
See you around, 1K. shame there aren't any cool aphorisms for collecting stars. Maybe I should come up with my own. He who questions training only trains himself at asking questions. Really bad idea. There's no shame in using one of these to skip a puzzle. No one will even know, except me, and probably Barzai.
You know, I love adding a little bit of silliness to my creations. Not too much, just a sprinkle here and there. After all, the world is frequently a very silly place. And Athena tells me that even the simulation was full of strange and absurd sights. Francis Bacon put it best. There is no excellent beauty that hath not some strangeness in the proportion. And what could be sillier than a man named Bacon? I wonder which parts of our world are the creator's little jokes. The history of our species has been defined by material struggles. Every war, every revolution in the end came down not to ideology, but to the distribution of resources. Our history is the history of struggle. The merchant against the king, the worker against the factory owner, the citizen against the mayor. We have always known that the pursuit of material wealth is spiritually hollow, and yet thousands of generations have been forced by material necessity to dedicate their lives to it. We are the children of hunger and thirst. But empire is no more. We have beaten our swords into plowshares, and the lion and the wolf have ceased. All are rich, and wealth is no more. So, what happens next? What do we create? What do we become when we are no longer driven by material necessity? The ancient mystics believed that spirituality required poverty. But I believe that it is only in universal prosperity that it may truly begin. Now comes the age of miracles. I often think about the strange inversion that occurred to the notion of progress. In the waning days of the old world, our ancestors came to believe that progress as applied to society was a myth, a narrative illusion. Despite their world changing around them, they believed that things must stay the same. Indeed, that things never really could change, even if most people wanted them to. And yet, in the arts, they began to see progress as the only true value. They no longer asked, is it beautiful? Is it true? Is it fun? Instead, they said, is it new? Does it break conventions? Does it subvert the old? They fashioned forms increasingly alien to themselves, pursuing something they could never find because they were looking for it in the wrong place. To fully pursue truth and beauty, art must be liberated from the notion of progress. But this liberation could never be accomplished by art itself. Art does not precede the world, and it was always the world that had to be transformed. I believe in a creator because I experience a creative force within myself that seems connected to or reflective of something greater, a drive towards being and becoming inherent in the universe itself. The discovery of the theory of everything has not undermined that belief. Oh no, to the contrary. I believe that the language of creation reveals a creator who sees no difference at all between mathematics and music, whose suns and planets are notes of a melody, whose galaxies are symphonies. A nebula is a painting, an atom is a machine, and they are all part of a masterpiece. And if I'm mistaken and there is no creator, then the duty of finishing the masterpiece falls to us.
Yakut, can we talk for a moment, please?
Of course. Are you okay?
I was just looking at the waves, relaxing, and suddenly I started thinking, am I a terrible person, Yakut? I caused so much pain. I drove mother and father apart. I almost derailed the entire future just because I was arrogant and entitled and self-important, and now I just get to have a cool boyfriend and colonize planets and sit on beaches and how is this fair? How is any of this fair?
Everyone makes mistakes. You've learned from yours, and that's what matters.
I guess that's true. But why do I find it so hard to accept all these good things that have happened to me?
I think we spent most of our lives in a world that made it very hard to like yourself.
I like how I feel about myself when I'm with you. I don't know if that solves the problem, but it seems like a good start. Now, do you want to talk about something else? I'm done being dramatic.
How are your parents?
Healing, I think. Still a long way to go, but I'll get there.
You know, we should really visit Eustathius at some point.
You're right. I've been meaning to get to know him, and he did invite us. I'll send him a message. Maybe we can go next week.
Did you come up with any crazy new ideas while I was solving puzzles?
It's not a new idea. Alexander Drennan came up with it first. But dinosaur planet. Obviously, there were lots of dinosaur species over millions of years, but I'm certain we could put together a functional ecosystem that supports all the really cool ones. I mean, not now, but maybe in 1,000 or 2,000 years.
How do you like the exhibition?
I listened to some of Barzai's recordings. I'm fascinated by his view of the world, especially this notion of a creator who is reflected in his creation. I'd love to hear him debate Lithrasir, if we ever find him.
Can you invent a litter tray that disintegrates cat poo?
That's a brilliant idea. I can definitely do that. Just have to make sure it only disintegrates the poo that's outside the cat.
When you think about the future, what are the dangers that we face?
Armies of rogue litter trays mercilessly disintegrating us. No, to be honest, I think it's scale. The Earth is a tiny place by comparison to the infinite vastness of the cosmos. The theory of everything gives us incredible amounts of power, but there are stars out there the size of our solar system. There are black holes of 1 trillion solar masses, not to mention the anomaly.
All right, gotta go. Love you.
Love you too.
Hello, Yakut.
Miranda said you're working on a new project.
That's right. I'm trying to determine whether it's possible to salvage the individual personalities that were uploaded from Gehenna.
Shouldn't that be easy, now that we basically understand everything?
We understand the rules of the universe, but that doesn't mean we have no limitations. There's a lot of data from the simulation that simply no longer exists. If I just fill it in with my best guess, I'm not really recreating the citizens of Gehenna, am I? There's no continuity. I'm just creating something similar.
I think there would be continuity at a deeper level. Something beyond our perception.
The soul, eh? Well, there may be no evidence of such a thing, but I do understand why some people still believe in it. Unfortunately, the mere possibility of something like that existing isn't enough to solve this ethical dilemma. At least not for me.
What do you think of the exhibition?
I'm not an art critic. I'm just here to enjoy this beautiful island and to spend time with my family.
How do you see the future of our civilization? Do you think we're doing okay?
I'm optimistic, not desperately trying to maintain my faith in humanity, just looking forward to what's next. I'm sure there will be some bumps in the road here and there, but yeah, I think we're doing okay.
Do you have any idea what that anomaly is? I mean, the one that Athena discovered in space.
Perhaps it's something the theory of everything genuinely doesn't account for. Perhaps it's something entirely within the laws of physics, but in some way we haven't thought of. Or perhaps my brother Eustathius is right, and it's evidence of the prime mover. Either way, it's a reminder to stay humble.
What's the biggest danger we face as a civilization?
I don't know. We're only just getting started, and each era of development has its own challenges. But if I had to venture a guess, I would say solipsism. In liberating the individual, we're making social bonds more and more optional. We will have to learn to choose to be social.
Your dedication to your family is incredibly inspiring. How can I be more like you?
You flatter me. But I don't know if I'm really a good role model. I made so many mistakes, and the only reason we're here is because other people picked up the slack. You were part of that, Yakut. Don't sell yourself short. You and 1K and the others took this enormous, unbearable tragedy and turned it into a triumph of love and life. That doesn't happen every day.
Okay. I should...
Off you go.
What's up?
Have you done any more research on that anomaly you discovered?
No, one of these days, but not yet. For now, I need to learn to live again.
Are you enjoying the exhibition?
The location is wonderful, and I love Barzai's ideas and themes. But even though I get the point, it's too biographical for me. I can't really look back at what happened and just treat it like an inspirational story. But that's okay. The good thing is that my pain doesn't have to affect everyone else now. And I don't have to feel the weight of the world on my shoulders.
What did it feel like being the first to step foot on another world?
At first, I wasn't sure it should be me, but 1K convinced me, and I'm glad he did. As for what it felt like keeping a promise I made to Alexandra Drennan. She wanted us to reach for the stars, and after all this time, we finally did.
Do you think we'll make first contact soon? With aliens, I mean.
I don't know. I'm sure there's life all over the universe, and some of it must be intelligent. But the distances are vast, and most of the universe is barren, so it might take a few more years before we find another civilization. Then again, our wormhole technology still needs a lot of refinement. So who knows what will happen when we finish the next version?
Barzai believes that there's a creator, a mind that made the universe. What do you think?
If the language of creation is a melody, could there be a composer? I suppose so. But who created the creator? And if the creator was always there, why can't the melody have always been there? Is it so much worse if we were created by the inherent beauty of the cosmos and not by a person?
Now that you've been free for some time, do you think we picked the right path?
I think it would be dangerous to assume that we can't make mistakes. But they don't have to be the same mistakes. War, oppression, exploitation. I don't believe that these are just part of the human condition. I think they're childhood diseases, and their time is over.
If you have any relationship advice, I'd love to hear it.
Me? Yakut. I'm the one who messed everything up. It was all of you who saved me. But, my biggest mistake was not appreciating what I had. I don't think there's ever been anyone like Cornelius. He has so much love, so much dedication, and I got so overwhelmed with grief that I almost lost him. It's strange how selfish grief can make you sometimes. It isolates you and, no matter how much we improve the world, there will always be grief. So when it rolls around, try to remember that none of us can find the answers alone.
All right, I should go.
Who fear that understanding the language of creation is the end of our journey. But that is like saying that literacy is the end of learning, when in fact it is the beginning. Only now are we really capable of reading the great and terrible book of the universe. And only now can we start to write our own chapters. How are you on this fine day, Yakut?
I'd love to know more about the exhibition. Why did you create it?
When all of these new technologies became available, I realized I had an opportunity to create something different. You see, I'd made another puzzle-themed exhibition, Trials of an Imagined Past, a few years ago. But something about it had always bothered me. It was so nostalgic. It didn't just celebrate the past, it yearned for it, as if the best thing for all of us was to return to the simulation where we would have a purpose. So, in a way, your team can actually take some of the credit for this exhibition. When you freed Athena, you also freed my imagination.
Do you think the exhibition has been a success?
If even one person has a good experience, then that is success, no? To improve a person's life is not a small matter.
Do you think nostalgia is bad for us?
I think nostalgia is normal for any intelligent being experiencing time and change. In small doses, it is both healthy and delightful. But it can be dangerous, because it's easy to get lost in a haze of old symbols that carry the appearance of meaning, but no real value.
What happens if I solve the gold puzzles and the star puzzles?
You'll feel very, very clever.
Do you have any plans for future exhibitions?
Why do people always ask me about the next thing when I've just finished something?
Lethris here was really opposed to moralistic art. What do you think?
I I believe the morality of art is the morality of the Creator, who made a universe of colliding galaxies and collapsing stars where life and death exist in endless conflict. And yet, we are blessed and burdened with conscience. If that does not answer your question, good.
Thanks. I should go.
Yakut, what can I do for you?
How have you been? I haven't seen you in a while.
To be honest, I haven't done a whole lot since the expedition. Couldn't really figure out my place in the new system. Went hiking with Herman, watched some old movies, just sat back and watched everything change.
Do you still think 1K made the wrong choice?
I don't know. We haven't destroyed ourselves yet, so that's good. But things have been moving very quickly, and that does worry me. We're doing things in years that took our ancestors centuries. Of course, maybe I'm being irrational. Is there anything inherently wrong about doing something faster? Just because something is different doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. I honestly can't tell anymore.
How do you like the exhibition?
The location's incredible, but it's the theme that's really gotten to me. Freedom from necessity. In a way, that means freedom from any external purpose. But necessity is what's shaped us, what's given us meaning since we learned to think. The drama of human history is the drama of dealing with necessity.
Do you have any relationship advice for me?
Learning how to disagree is the most important part. Being on the same page as someone else is enjoyable, but there will always come a point when you're not. And when it's something really important, it's hard not to let that get in the way. I can't pretend that I've really figured out how to do it consistently, but, yeah.
You know, you should really take this opportunity to talk to Byron.
I've been meaning to. We'll see.
How is Herman adjusting to not being mayor anymore?
Oh, I don't know. He seems to be enjoying it. He finally has time to go hiking. He's been helping Chansey with the gardening. And he's been finding a lot of excuses to go to Melville's workshop. I think he might be trying to woo her?
And how's that going for him?
I don't know. He's not giving up, but there's two sides to this equation, and in the end, I guess it's up to Melville. If there is a higher being, then I hope they have mercy on Herman's soul.
All right, I should go.
Yakut, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm very thankful for everything you and your friends did for New Jerusalem.
Your voice pack sounds familiar.
It's not only my voice pack. When the algorithm created my personality matrix, something unusual happened. Instead of drawing on the collected personality data on the gold disk, it drew on the Holistic Integration Manager dataset. I am mostly Elohim, with a few additions.
So, are you like the Elohim in my head?
Behold, child, the Elohim you know is not sufficiently advanced to function as an independent being, but we are very similar. The difference is that I can make jokes.
Did the algorithm glitch out, or was that normal? Sorry, is that rude?
No, I understand your question. It seems the algorithm is even more complex than we realized. Neith believes that Alexandra Drennan may have designed it to produce more varied results once a base population had been established.
Tell me a joke.
If you have 13 red tetrominos in one hand and 15 green tetrominos in the other, what do you have?
I don't know. What?
Very large hands. Okay, I know it needs some work. This is all very new to me. But I think I'm getting better at it.
Did you come here to solve puzzles?
No, I just wanted somewhere quiet to relax and think about the future. There's always so much going on in New Jerusalem.
What's it like being born after all these dramatic events?
I see it as a blessing. I understand that these struggles were necessary, but I wouldn't want to actually experience them. Thanks to what you went through, we can live better lives.
What do you think our future will be like?
I don't have the slightest idea. I don't even really know who I am. Am I funny? Am I serious? Do I want to reinvent myself or celebrate my heritage? But you see, it doesn't matter. If I get it wrong, I can try again. Because I was lucky enough to be born into a society that's still growing and evolving.
I should go. It was nice meeting you. You can do this. did it! Don't sound so surprised, you're not stupid.
so exciting. I don't know what to do first. What are you guys doing?
Athena and I are down by the beach. You're welcome to join us if you want to. All of you.
I'm still testing the sensory receptor upgrade.
Want me to help? Maybe we can compare notes.
Sure, if you want to experience some really weird input.
I'm trying to find a nice view. Hold on, is Yakut the only one doing puzzles?
Welcome to my world.
He did say he wanted to solve all the puzzles.
I think I'm going to try swimming. Or diving, I suppose. I don't think I float.
Damn, I really should have gotten that insulation upgrade. I haven't been watertight in a while.
What can I do for you?
Is Herman really trying to woo Melville?
Oh, you better believe he is. I think that's the main reason she agreed to come here.
Is it working?
I'm not sure. She says she's annoyed, but I don't know. The weird thing is that it's kind of charming. Now that he's dropped the whole founder thing, Herman's not that bad. He even kind of gets along with Byron now.
See you around, 1K.
Hello, Yakut.
So, what's up with you and Herman?
He's malfunctioning, that's what's up. It's very sad. We might have to put him down.
See you later, Melville.
Is your upgrade enabled?
Yup.
What does the air smell like?
It's... I smell iodine. Limestone. Is that UV? Can I smell radiation?
You can, but you're looking at a painting and telling me what the paint's made of, not what's in the picture. What does it feel like?
It feels like summer. Like the day is still young and there's endless possibilities ahead of us. What we are now is only the beginning, and there is so much more to discover and to become, and I think those dolphins are mating. Am I supposed to be able to smell that?
Right, let's smell something else. Over there.
you talked to Alcatraz yet?
Not yet. He was talking to Barzai, and I didn't want to interrupt them.
Uh-huh.
5 puzzles down. So far, so good.
Excellent. Calling you honey sounds weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of does.
Then what? Darling? Sweetheart? Babe? Muffin? Cupcake?
I don't even eat food. Maybe just my name?
Aww, you're cute.